Hi guys, it's Victoria and welcome back to FemmeHead. Today I want to talk about waking up early in the morning, how I've gone about it, why I do it, and all that good stuff because it has been such a positive thing. So I posted on Instagram back in November that I had been waking up at 5 a.m. and I asked if anyone else out there was a morning person as well. And a lot of people responded, yes, I'm a morning person, but not that early. And I agree. I think normally I am a like 6 a.m. to 6:30 wake up sort of gal. So I wanted to share why I've been waking up at 5 a.m., like why that particular time and not later in the day, and how I've motivated myself to do it and how I've gone about actually doing it in the moment. The reason that I initially went from waking up at around 7:30 when Theo woke up to waking up at 6 a.m. is so I could have time to myself in the morning and have a morning routine for just myself before he got up and I had to switch over to mom mode. I was having a lot of difficulty just waking up and immediately having to be on and be mom. It was all about like Theo and what he needed. And granted, like he's a toddler, can't do most things for himself. Like I'm not complaining that I have those duties as a mom, but it was just really hard to go from like peaceful, calm asleep to like, I'm a mother. So I started waking up at 6 a.m. I created a little morning routine for myself. I did the 30-day morning challenge that I created, and a couple of you guys did it with me. I made videos about it, and it led to all these positive changes. And like morning was my time. It's still my favorite time of the day. I've been a morning person most of my adult life, and I've just really leaned into that. Having time where I could wake up slowly, I could do my skincare, I could go to the bathroom without rushing, I could make a cup of coffee and drink it hot. I could do morning pages, I could stretch, I could do yoga, I could do whatever I wanted in that time was incredible. So I started squeezing in like 15 to 30 minutes of work after I would get like my whole morning routine done. And that was my favorite chunk of work during the day, which I know is not a big chunk at all, but I was so productive in that short window of time. Like I know this about myself. I know I'm most productive in the morning. I was just trying to be flexible with what I have to work with right now, which is Theo's nap time, which is like 12:30 to, do the math, Victoria, to 2. He naps from like 12:30 to 2. He takes like an hour and a half nap most days, roughly. But the problem for me is by the time it rolls around to 12:30, which it is right now, I'm like half asleep, to be completely honest. Like I normally don't drink coffee after noon. This is a cup of coffee back here because I was just struggling with trying to get stuff done because the only chunk of time I was allowing myself to get stuff done was during his nap because I can't work when he is awake. It does not work out. He loses it when I am on a computer when he's around. I don't know what it is. Like he needs to be in my lap, he needs to be touching things, and it's too much work to try to keep him like entertained in my lap, not like pounding on the keyboard or like tearing my papers up. So I just don't work when he's awake. I had an epiphany, I guess. And I was like, Victoria, you're a morning person. Just wake up earlier. I've never consistently woken up before like 6 a.m. Like 6 a.m. is my like early wake up time. But I was like, F it. Let's do it. Let's go all in. 5 a.m. Do it for a week and see how it goes. I don't know how long ago that was. At this point, it's been a few months and it has been such a positive change. So that's what I did. I gave myself an additional hour in the morning, which gives me about a 2-hour chunk of work. May not seem like a lot to a normal person, but as essentially a work from home mom with a toddler, a 2-hour solid stretch of time is like unheard of. So the first thing is kind of like having a purpose to waking up early, because if you don't have something that you're wanting to do with that extra time, you're not as motivated to get out of bed. If I was like, I just want to wake up to have more time, but like I didn't have a plan for it, I didn't have like a morning routine set out, or I didn't know that I was gonna work for a chunk of time. I have to have a goal in mind to be motivated to do something. It's just like, I will not run consistently unless I'm training for a race. That is just my personality, and I know that for myself. So you have to have a purpose to waking up early, and you have to like map it out for yourself. Everything I do in the morning are things I wanna do. None of it is a chore or a burden. It's all things that I'm excited to do. So that's my biggest piece of advice. If you wanna wake up early, do something that gets you out of bed. The next thing I want to touch on is setting yourself up for success the night before. Because I think the key to waking up early is how you prepare the night before. So Theo goes down around like 7:30. I will come downstairs and do like a quick tidy reset of the main floor, which I think is so crucial. Like, it doesn't take that long. Like, the max it takes is like half an hour. It's cleaning up after dinner, like resetting the kitchen, wiping those counters, wiping the counter in the dining room, picking up all of his little toys from throughout the day. I'm like, that kid can make a mess. Makes a mess, but it doesn't take long to pick up because it's usually just taking his toys and throwing them back into his little like toy box container that we have. That way in the morning, I know I have something like clean and like fresh to come down to, and that is the greatest feeling, to just come down to a clean house. So I highly recommend just like taking a few minutes, and it doesn't have to be spotless and it doesn't have to be everywhere, but if there's like a room or two that you come into in the morning, clean those rooms so you can be in a clean room first thing in the morning. I get off of technology between like 8:30 and 8:45. I aim for an hour before I'm gonna fall asleep. And this has been such a positive change, because to go from like looking at your computer all day, watching Netflix, to like scrolling through your phone right up until you go to bed, and then expecting yourself to just fall asleep is unrealistic. At least for me, I know I'm not going to just nod off right away if I have not given myself time away from technology. And this has improved the quality of my sleep far beyond like any other tips or tricks that I've tried. I also have my phone go into nighttime mode around 9 p.m. I want to say. That way any calls or notifications are silenced, like it's on do not disturb essentially until I think 7 a.m. Nothing worse than almost being asleep and your phone buzzing with a text message. Give yourself time to wind down before bed. This was another mistake I was making, just like with the technology. I was stimulating myself right up until the point I was like, well, I need to get to bed. And then my brain wouldn't stop working. Usually where like I give myself time to do skincare, going into bed with like clean, moisturized, juicy skin and like freshly clean teeth is the best feeling. And then I go in and I read a few pages or a few chapters depending on the time and how tired I am of a book. Reading is something I love and I've always loved, and didn't make time for the longest time with Theo because I just didn't know where it was going to fit into my schedule, and it didn't fit in honestly for a while. So reading before bed has just been so great, and sometimes I only read 2 pages, sometimes I read 5 chapters. It just depends on the night, but I love that. And then probably about like 10 minutes before I'm like, okay, I need to be asleep, I will shut my book and I will do a 10-minute meditation. Those are all things that I've been super consistent on. That's just my steps I do now, and it's very, very good for my brain. I know they always start, regardless of the meditation you're doing, they're like, make sure you're seated in an upright position where your back is supported and your feet are like firmly on the ground. Some version of that. But I'm literally always like tucked into bed with my sleep mask on. And I know I'm not getting the most like benefit bang for my buck out of meditation that way, but it's what works for me, puts me to sleep. I usually go to sleep between like 9:30 and 9:45. Oh, and the final thing I do the night before, I have a hook on the wall next to my bed. So I'll hang up my bathrobe, I hang up my pants. My pajamas are like short sleeves and shorts. And then I have my slippers next to my bed as well, because I don't know about you, but if it's freezing cold in my room and I am not properly prepared in what I'm wearing, and I have to get up and be cold and then go rummage through my dresser or closet to find warm layers, that's gonna make me pause before getting out of bed. But if I know that my warmth is an arm's reach away, then it's super easy to get out of bed, because you're like, I'm not really gonna be cold because I'm gonna put on this warm, comfy, luxurious bathrobe, comfy slippers, and I'll be toasty. So making sure that you have your warm layers next to the bed has been a very important step that I cannot forget. The morning. So my alarm is set for 5 a.m. every morning, Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, I have it set for like 6 a.m. Just because even though it is the weekend, I love waking up early so much and having that time before Theo wakes up to myself. That gives me roughly like 7.5 hours of sleep a night on the weekdays, and then like 8 hours on the weekends. Everyone requires a different amount of sleep. I could easily sleep 9+ hours a night and still feel tired. But I think that if you sleep too long, it actually works against you and makes you feel tired. You have to find your sweet spot of sleeping long enough to where you're well rested and you can wake up feeling like refreshed and ready for the day, and then sleeping too long where you've like binged on sleep and you wake up and you feel like you've been hit with a 2x4. So my sweet spot is like 7 to 8 hours. Some people, they thrive off of 5 hours. Some people need 9 hours. You just have to find what your nighttime necessities are. A couple people asked, how do you wake up early without waking up Michael? And that's a good point, because we used to kind of get up around the same time. Like I would get up at 6 a.m. He kind of like lay there until like 6:30, 6:45. And so I have a sunrise clock. It is the best thing ever for winter wake ups. And I highly recommend it if you wake up at the same time as your partner, or if they sleep like a log, or if you're single, get yourself a sunrise clock. I'll link the one I use down below, because it is the most gentle, welcoming way to wake up in the morning. It was like, please can you not use that, because then I'm up and I don't want to wake up that early. Regardless of whether I use a sunrise clock or not, I have an alarm set on my phone, and I have a very gentle, like chime, quiet, eases into it sort of alarm. I don't know how people wake up with blaring emergency foghorn alarms, because that would just set off my anxiety. And that's not how I want to wake up. And I don't know how people wake up just with that like surge of adrenaline and like fear. So I have a very gentle alarm. It starts off really quiet, and I'm usually very quick to turn it off, because you get so used to your alarm. If you have a different kind of alarm than someone else, your body learns to not wake up to it. I found from living in a sorority in college, or just having like roommates and stuff, unless it is Party in the USA every single morning on repeat, freshman year of college, that always woke me up. I give myself either like a few deep breaths to wake up, because sometimes I'm like up and ready to go, but on the mornings where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm like quite ready, and you know when you like give yourself permission to like lay back down, but then you have that fear that you're gonna fall back asleep because you've done that before. What I've started doing in that moment that I want a little bit more time in bed and I'm not quite awake enough to like start my day, is I will visualize and picture my morning routine. I'll just go through the steps in my head. So I literally lay there and I say, okay, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna put on my bathrobe and my pants. I'm gonna grab the stuff from my dresser. I'm gonna grab my slippers. So I'm gonna go in the bathroom, pee if I have to, put my matcha stick on all my dry spots on my lips, and then we're gonna go downstairs and we're gonna make a cup of coffee and my water for the day. And then we're gonna go into the office and we're gonna sit down, we're gonna do morning pages, and then it's time to dig into work. And like by that time, I'm like, that sounds freaking great. I'm ready to go. And I get out of bed and do it. You basically got my morning routine there, but I wake up, I will put on just my matcha stick from Coco Kind. I put that on my lips, and I have some dry patches around this area of my face, because I don't do my full-blown like skincare routine until a little bit later in the morning. And then I come downstairs, gotta have a cup of coffee. Speaking of which, I'm starting to warm up, but I do want some coffee. Coffee. Have a mug warmer on your desk if you don't already. I make 2 glass tumblers, but they're 22 ounces each, so I make those up for the morning, and that's what I try to get through water-wise. I find that if I'm gonna set myself on the right path of drinking water throughout the day, I need to start with water in here. Lately, I've been adding the Liquid IV hydration multiplier to those like morning water tumblers, because first off, they sent me some. They're like, here, try out our products. And I am forever dehydrated, never drinking enough water. But I find that if I have like a little flavor, a little like something to my water, I'm so much more not willing to drink it, but I get through it faster. Because if it's just plain water, I have to consciously be like chug, 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 chug. But with this, it's like, it's tasty. It's like refreshing, but it's not overwhelming. It gets me through my water. So one of those packets is meant for 16 ounces of water. but I will split it between the two 22 ounces. So like 44 ounces, math. The full on amount, I would describe the flavor very similar to something like Gatorade. Not to mention, I'm gonna get a little techie with you, but bear with me because it'll make sense. Their big thing is called CTT, which is cellular transport technology, which delivers the hydration 2 to 3 times faster to your system than just drinking plain water. I know a lot of people just like, just drink water, Victoria, but lazy girl hack. Like, I know me, and I know that I'm not that great with water. And so if I can start my day with like hydration central with this liquid IV, I will. They sent me a couple different flavors, and I've come to learn that like lemon lime is my flavor. That's my go-to. I've bought it with my grocery order and all that good stuff. So I truly do actually like it, and I do drink it every single morning. But if you want to give it a go, I have a code for you that they gave to me. You can click the link in the description box, or you can use the code FemmeHead for 25% off your order and free shipping, because who doesn't love free shipping? But anyways, back to my morning. So I take my water with liquid IV and my coffee, carry them all in here, and I sit down at my desk. I turn my mug warmer on, get that set up, get my water set up, and I start with morning pages. And I do anywhere from like 1 to 3, but lately I've been only doing 1 because I just am so jazzed to get into work. It's so low maintenance. You don't have the stress of like, I have to spell things right, I have to be grammatically correct, or it has to flow and it has to be super eloquent because I'm gonna read back and keep it forever. It's just like, no. You just use a plain college ruled notebook that you don't like, it's not fancy. I do have my favorite pens, which are the Pilot G2, is it 0.05 or 0.5 pens? But like, don't sweat how it looks. Once I'm done with morning pages, it's time to start my day. Found a desktop planner that has just been the perfect amount of space and also everything I need in one place. So it has an ongoing to-do list. It has a place for me to say like, okay, these are the 4 videos you need to work on this week. These are the meals you're gonna make. These are like the cleaning tasks you wanna do. And here's your day-to-day sort of thing. And so it's just the perfect amount of space for me. I just love it. It's a weekly planner, it's a desktop planner. It was like 15 bucks. So I get that out, plan my day out beforehand. What are the few tasks or just one task I'm trying to tackle this morning? I will put on my blue light blocking glasses, which I don't know, like I've heard mixed reviews about whether they actually work or not, but I feel a difference. And so I always just wear those when I'm working at my computer. And then I'll click on, see this bad boy over here? This is another new thing for me. It is a light therapy lamp. This was sent to me as well, but I am kind of obsessed with it, I'm not gonna lie. Once I'm like done journaling and ready to start my day, I'll turn this on because it is bright here. Boom, it's okay, it doesn't look super bright right now, but it's bright first thing in the morning. I have it turned to like the warmest light and the dimmest light because that's just what I want. It's meant to like mimic the sunlight, helps with seasonal blues, seasonal affective disorder, and just like concentration, all the things we struggle with in the winter when it's dark out. Use it when I'm working during Theo's nap, and I use it when I'm working in the morning. Don't quote me on this one, but I feel like Scandinavian countries, light therapy lamps are much more common because they just have like long, dark winters and they just need them because we need some sort of like sunlight, light, and just being in darkness all the time is not a good thing. I really do think I've noticed a difference with this. And then I work my little heart out until like 7:30 whenever Theo gets up and I'm ready to start my day. I usually try to finish up whatever task I'm working on, so Michael's usually the one that goes and gets him. Our mornings together, just like cuddling on the couch, drinking our coffee, him drinking our milk, watching the news, like I just like that time together before Michael goes to work. So I will stop what I'm doing in here, put it on pause until his nap, and like go spend time with my family. This has been a fantastic change of pace for me. I was struggling to just stay afloat. I was getting the bare minimum done for FemmeHead, basically just like subpar videos, treading water, trying to stay afloat. But I actually feel like lately with this 5 a.m. wake up, I've been able to plan out a social media calendar. I've been able to like spruce up a few different parts of my website. I've been able to start consistently sending out my Monday email. Like, there's so many things that I've been able to do that I've just been putting off. Hopefully by the time this video goes out, my new course is like up and ready to go, which if it is, it'll be linked down below. I've been able to get so much more done because I went from like having a very exhausted hour in the afternoon to get my work done to having 2 hours in the afternoon. Now Theo's napping more, so I have like an hour and a half to 2 hours, so I've like quadrupled my work time. It's been good. Part of me is like, man, I'm in such a good place, and I know it's all just gonna get thrown out the window when the baby gets here, but that's fine. I know I have these good things in place, and I know what works for me, that I can return back to them when the time comes. Wholeheartedly expect and hope that I keep up with this up until the time the baby is born, because it has just been so good for me. I'm able to get so much more done and just prepare work-wise and just like for myself to nurture the part of me that's not a mom before the baby comes, because that's just an all-consuming phase. Not that I'm not excited, I just know it's gonna be baby land for a couple months and not FemmeHead work land. Listen, maybe 5 a.m. isn't for you, that's fine. Like, if you don't have to get up that early, don't get up that early. Maybe it's just 30 minutes or 15 minutes early. Just do something for yourself before your day starts, before your kids wake up, whatever it is. But I can't recommend just squeezing in a little bit of time for you. And even if it's just like waking up and drinking a hot cup of coffee and getting ready without anyone like squealing at your feet is a good thing. So find a way to make it work for you if it's something that you want to do. Like I said, it doesn't have to be 5 a.m. That's just what's been working for me, and it is glorious. That is enough talking from me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.